Hi, I'm Sarah Squires, aka the Nurturing Coach, and welcome to this series on getting caught ready against a narcissistic ex. This is the first video of the series. Don't forget to click subscribe and, more importantly, the notification bell so that you know when the next video is released as part of this series. So first off, I want to look at the tactics that the narcissist will use in the court process so that we can fully prepare you for what's to come. So there's 7 main tactics that all narcissists will use in the court process. These are all designed to degrade you, to limit your credibility, to get others on side, and essentially to beat you at any cost. So the first one is blame. You will find that no matter what went on in your relationship with your ex, you will be blamed for the whole of it. And the reason for this is the narcissist can't cope with anyone seeing anything bad in them. To them, it's part of that false self that they have built. And you pull at one thread and that whole thing falls apart, and they can't afford for that, and so they chuck everything onto you. The other thing of that is if you throw enough mud, some of it is going to stick. And when you've been in a relationship with someone who is coercively controlling, who can be both verbally but particularly emotionally abusive, you're going to have cracked at some point. You are going to have made mistakes. We make mistakes in relationships. We're all human beings. Those mistakes will be blown out of proportion, will be taken out of context, and will massively be used against you. But so will anything that they've done as well. They will project all of their own behaviour onto you. The next one is they will attack you. They'll attack you in both overtly and covertly ways. So through the court process itself, there will be lots of defamation within their statements. They will accuse you of some absolutely abhorrent things, things that you would never dream of doing. Like I say, they'll also use things that they have done, and they'll make out that it's you that has done it. There'll be things that they're bringing forward from their own past. So it might be things that their own parents did to them, that they experienced in childhood, that they put in. And these are all attacks on your character. They will also attack you as a parent if you've got children together, accusing you of child abuse. And they can use the children as part of that, which we'll come to. But these attacks are all designed to do 2 things. Again, one is to divert any attention away from them so they can play the victim and throw all of this mud at you. But the second one is to disarm you. When you're trying to catch and defend yourself from all these attacks, you can't necessarily present your best self and your best case. It's all very triggering when you've been in an emotionally abusive relationship, a psychologically abusive relationship. And so it's to completely catch you off guard. It's to make sure that you can't get any momentum up in your own case to defeat them. But once you know that this is their tactic, you can step back. So the next one is splitting. You will become all bad and they will be all good. Life isn't like that. It's not black and white. There are grey areas, but splitting is a sign of a personality disordered individual. They're that black and white thinking. And so, most relationships, even abusive ones, there are good times. If it was all bad, you wouldn't have hung around for any length of time. There were good moments. It's why we keep stuck. It's why we keep trauma bonded. Why we are trauma bonded is because it's that high and low. It keeps us hooked. But suddenly they are all gone. They emotionally cut off from you. That's how they psychologically deal with this. They just cut off from you and forget any good that you've done for them. Any help that you've given them, any support will be nil and void. Didn't happen as far as they're concerned. You were a monster throughout. So again, be prepared for the knowledge that is coming, and it will hurt. Even if you're really glad to be out of the relationship, it hurts our ego to be made out to be a monster, and it it's gaslighting as well. So it affects our distortion of reality. It also makes us want to defend ourselves. And again, this is all part of their plan to keep you on the hop. You know, the more that they can make you feel very uncomfortable, they are winning. The next one is those intense emotions. They will present as either the hero or the victim in any story, but particularly within the court environment. They are either the victim of your awful, awful behaviour. You're either trying to take the children away from them, or you are an abusive, manipulative, horrible, physically abusive ex who them and the children need protecting from. So they are either victim of that or the hero, in as much as they are protecting the children because you're this vile monster. And they will play those roles. They will present it in a very intense way, and they can be very seductive. You know, most people don't enjoy seeing someone upset and crying, and will do whatever they can to soothe them, because most people are quite empathetic and we don't like to see someone in pain, particularly people in the court arena. They're mainly rescuers by nature. That you don't go into something like this if you don't have that as part of your character, particularly in family court. You're very understanding of the feelings of others. And so when someone is being very emotional in front of you, your natural reaction is to want to make that better. And obviously, this is what narcissists do so brilliantly. They use their emotions, those intense emotions, to get a response from someone else. And in getting that response, it almost sort of binds them together. So when they're crying or when they're expressing this deep sadness, then, and the professional goes to soothe that, it is a form of attachment that is created. And that's very powerful, because once you've done that, you then don't necessarily want to think that you've backed the wrong horse. So it's all part of their game plan, is to use these emotions. And those emotions are real. I've worked with narcissists, and I've seen their expression of emotion. It is very real when you observe it. And which is why it's important that people understand that actually it might be real, it's just misdirected. Video for another day. They will also use smear campaigns and flying monkeys. So, as I said, you will become all bad, and they will use other people to spread the word about you. Now, that might be the professionals involved in the case. It might be their children. It could be your own family, your friends, your work colleagues, anyone that they can recruit to slander you and to take their side. And again, they can be very covert about this, in as much as they'll play the victim and woe is me, and they did this, they were awful, and really prey on people's emotions. But equally, they can be very overt with it, and people know what they're capable of, and so will sometimes act out of fear and do what they want, because they know they don't want to be on the receiving end of that treatment. So with children, this can be done very cleverly, stage by stage, by punishing them for saying anything nice about you and rewarding them for saying anything bad about you. And it doesn't take long for that momentum to create a divide between you, and for then children to be saying bad things about you to other people. That's all part of parental alienation, and I've done lots of videos on this channel about that. I'll pop the best one up in the link. Next one is retaliation. You have any evidence that suggests that they are untruthful, that damages that false sense of self, and you will get both barrels on that. Now, in an ideal world, they would do that in public, and they would show their true colours in doing so. What they tend to do is do that behind the scenes. So it might be that they phone your boss and tell you something, or they punish you through the children. It can be extreme or small, but there will be punishment if you in any way damage that false sense of self, or if you have any success. And then the final one is they just use the court process to continue to exert that power over you. Now, that might be through alienation, whereby they get the court to do their bidding and prevent you from having contact. But equally, it might be that they keep taking you back to court just to argue the toss on everything. So they can't agree a minor point of who pays for a coat. Those are the sort of examples, petty examples, that they will do because they want to keep bringing you back. And in their own distorted way of thinking, they believe that they're always right, and therefore the court will always back them up. And if they don't back them up, then they're wrong, and they'll do what they want anyway. So they will use the court process. So the reason I'm sharing these with you is understanding those behaviours before you get into the battle. It's their tactics. There's the art of war will tell you, know your enemy's tactics, and then you can strategize your own. So this is the first stage of that. And as we work through the series, then we will be looking at different strategies to create to help you through this. So if you found this useful, give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe, and again, click that bell so you know when the next video is released. Drop a comment below as well, and feel free to share with anyone that you think would benefit from this. I've also put the information in the comments below about our Get Caught Ready program. It's not free. It's an online program. It's £47, and it walks you through all of this, how to deal with all of these tactics. It's all about your emotional preparation. You're developing a solid strategy which will save you time and energy in the process, so that you're not picking the wrong solicitor. You are going in and are able to prove what you've been through and prove their behaviours, that you're turning the tables, because they go in believing that they're invincible. You go in completely the opposite, feeling very vulnerable. This is about turning the tables, not to make you the aggressor, but to make you assertive and make you believe. And it's all part of you working on you and becoming stronger in who you are. And Get Caught Ready covers all elements of that. So I'll pop the details below. It's full details on the page. Do check that out. Like I say, £47. Free 71-page workbook with that, plus all the video and audio trainings to go with that. So there you go. Thank you ever such a lot for listening, and take care, and I will speak to you all very soon. Bye bye.